Welcome back, everybody. Looks like only one of us showed up, though. Tetra is probably still busy doing something. In his defense, though, the pauses in between the matches are kind of like, up and down. Some of them are longer than the others. But I'm going to take over here all by myself up to this point. I think we're even now. Yesterday, I missed one of these entries, and Tetra had to cover up for it. So we're going to introduce this next series to you because it's 3 out of 6 up to this point. So we're almost at the halftime show, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be a real pleasure to basically present this series to you because it could be very well the highlight of the day. With Beyond the Game, I'm actually going to show you what those teams look like in the back here. Beyond the Game on the left-hand side and TheOne on the right-hand side. And both of our Chinese commentators, our China colleagues, they are not really in unison here. Whereas Tiger on the left-hand side says that it's going to be a clear TheOne win, Mafao on the right-hand side, he's like a little indecisive, right? He says it's going to be a 1-1 tie, a 1-1 draw. I'm more leaning over towards Tiger's prediction here because, quite honestly, TheOne right now, they look like on a different level. They are a team that has shown us some masterful plays, some masterful games up to this point. I even compared them to a Korean team, looking like a Korean team at some point, right? That's how strong they looked. But Beyond the Game, they're no slouch either. On a good day, they can take down every single team in the league, Tetra.
You are completely right. BTG, on a good day, are insane. But you mentioned taking down every single team in the league on a good day. Unfortunately, that includes TheOne, their opponents in this game, who right now aren't even looking like a team from this league. They're looking like a team from the Korean league. Maybe not one of the top 2, maybe not even top 3 teams, but they are looking so strong right now. I very much apologize for being late back to the set.
Now we're even. No problem, man.
Yes, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good in the hood. So, for once, by the way, guys, we also, before we move on to introducing TheOne, we need to give you guys a quick update, a little public service announcement concerning Eastern Clash 2. So big shout out to Captain Anda in our Twitch chat for basically giving us that hint. Much appreciated, because for that second Eastern Clash that is going to go down in the middle of August after the Western Clash, we will have 4 teams from Korea and 4 teams from China, rather than having 3 teams from China and 1 team from Taiwan. So Taiwan will only be able to qualify for BlizzCon through the Horizon Clash number 2 that is going to take place at some point.
Indeed, so they only get 1 chance as opposed to 2, which is a little bit fairer, gonna be honest, and be happy with that. But it was also nice for Blizzard to let them have the upper chance, seeing as the first Eastern Clash was held in Taiwan in the first place. But that also means that it's currently Challenge who are in the safety spots, which is the 3rd place position.
Yeah.
And Beyond the Game, it's up to them to try and steal it away. And to do that, they're going to have to 2-0 this team. They will be the first team to do so. It is TheOne. This season, they have looked dominant, better than they ever have, but they still look a little bit messy. There's a couple things that can be cleaned up here, but in terms of team fighting, in terms of map control, they are in control of the league at the moment.
That is very much true. And, we used to talk a lot about Meng and Hugo, being the absolute shining superstars of TheOne. But if you take a look at the whole team as a unit right now in the current phase, we have players like Muggle coming out of nowhere. Haven't seen him on a pro team ever before. Maybe it was a Hero League pickup, a high Grandmaster in the Asian realms, or it could have been an amateur player, in one of the Chinese Open Division teams. We will have to do some further investigation, but he is looking super solid. And the same can be said about Hehe, who is going to be our key player right here. And we hinted towards it, Tetra. Maybe we're going to see more Arthurs with that Jimmy.
There's a chance. Bringing out the Arthur's Jimmy combo. Anyone with lots of slows could gain the value. I hope so, honestly. And I think with a lot of the assassins being banned out, I think melee assassins are going to become a little bit more value because you can really focus down the counters to them a lot better now.
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. And let's, of course, not forget about ZJZ, the support player of TheOne, busting out some really good Alex Strasser plays, some really nice Decker plays as well. I think Deckard really as a hero has grown so much in the Chinese scene. They're very much relying onto that hero, and for good reason, because his impact on those team fights, especially to counter other supports, right, with that Emerald Cube, is so powerful.
That they are, but the question is it going to be enough? Or maybe with the 3-ban system, the HGC China is the first region in the world to use out of the HGC regions. Will Deck even be allowed through?
That is a very legitimate question. I mean, there's more heroes now that you can ban before the first pick is going to happen to each, and then you're going to have the third ban in the middle. So very cool to see that, and I think Beyond the Game is looking pretty good actually, although they had to suffer from a setback here against CE in which they were taken down 2-0, but their most recent performance against KT yesterday, I'm not sure what happened to KT overnight, but that was probably one of the most one-sided series I have ever seen in my HGC China caster career. But is it going to be enough though? Can they take this momentum they had against KT yesterday into this series against the One?
Let's find out, but the One have chosen the map at the start here. It's gonna be Cursed Hollows, other maps, Battlefield of Eternity, Towers of Doom, Braxis Holdout, and the Volskaya Foundry. Those are our backup maps for the second game in this best of 2 series. A 2-0 is 3 points, a 1-1 is 1 point per team, and getting O2'd gives you another zilch 0.
There we go. Can you do the German though?
What is the German?
The German one is nichts.
Nicht.
If you want to pronounce it a little more easily, you could also say nix. That's a little more
nicht.
common tongue.
Now I'm trying to practice the back of my throat sounds anyway,
all right.
and German is a good language.
Nichts would be a great word to practice that. Nichts.
Yes.
If you want to pronounce it in the Swiss way, nichts. Nichts.
Nichts.
Nichts.
Nichts. No, was that bad?
It was good. It was good. I mean, you're already outshining Trixler in his German attempts.
I have what I'm doing. Oh dear. Either way, guten Tag, Chat and Fräulein Chat, as we are preparing for game number 1.
The cool thing about the word Fräulein is like nobody uses it anymore. It's so old-fashioned, right? It's like
what's the alternative then? What's the more modern term? Frau.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So I don't know the name of your lady boss, so it would just be Frau Lady Boss. What's German for lady boss?
I don't know, man. So there's a couple of nicknames and cute little names you can give to your significant other. So you could drop the most common, I think, still in German is Schatz, which means like treasure. So you can call it my treasure.
Okay.
So you could be my treasure. You could be my casting Schatz.
Schatz. So it's like shots, but with an A.
Exactly, with an A.
Okay.
It's also the same word that Gollum uses in the Lord of the Ring movies, like mein Schatz.
Well, I mean, obviously the one I watched did not say that. Fair enough. All right. So now I just have a mental image of Kendrick Swish as Gollum. Just.
All right.
Oh dear. That is. Good luck, Photoshoppers at home. As we start off with the Hanzo. Deckard Cain does make it through the bans, and we do see it paired with the Phoenix here.
Yeah, not really too much respect on the Jimmy here. I think in that one series, I think in our first series of the day, he was banned. So that basically gave way to us being super surprised and be like, oh man, we're playing on the new patch, triple ban and Jimmy ban, let's go. And then in the second series of the day, it was actually picked by RPG. It got absolutely destroyed. And now Jimmy, as quickly as he arrived, seems to have disappeared already again as well.
Yep. Played once, and now the rest of China's been like, wasn't that good. I mean, I still wouldn't mind it coming in here for the 1. I still think that Reina could synergize potentially quite well with Phoenix.
Yeah, that is correct. By the way, are we lacking some music on the clean feed, or is it just me?
Let me turn my volume all the way up.
Normally you have the music of the battleground on the draft, right?
I don't know why I'm leaning forward, as if that would help. No, you are right. There is absolutely no music currently on the clean feed. Control M, observer.
Get your job done. Anyways, Irel being picked here once again by Beyond the Game, and I like that already. Irel, such a dominating soul laner. Really, really hard to control, hard to burst down, hard to take down in general. But now look at that. The 1... They already picked the Phoenix, so for Chinese pro teams, Phoenix still seems to be the go-to pick over the Reiner. Could be for several reasons. I think the most important one being that the teams haven't had enough time to practice with a Rainer. And here we see TheOne Classic, the only team in the league, Tetra, that still relies on good old Sonya.
Sonya versus Yorel, though. This sounds like it should be a pretty easy win for the Yorel, right?
Under normal conditions, I think it should at least be an even trade, because...
But these are under Hugo conditions.
I was going to say, but under Hugo conditions, with him on that Sonya, things could always go differently than expected. And here we see another situational pick here, the Tychus, and I like it. I think Tychus is not seeing enough play, especially against those high HP warriors like Muradin.
So I cut you off a little bit here. Explain to me why the Yorel and Sonya fight should go even.
So the thing is, like, Yorel does have great self-sustain, right? She can interrupt the Sonya. No, she can interrupt the spin to win, but she can keep her back from the minions with a hammer, right? So she might deny a little bit of self-sustain. But I still think that Sonya overall has the better wave clear to keep the minion waves intact. And if she doesn't really overextend, I don't think she should get outpoked heavily.
All right, fair enough. And also, technically, Yorel can interrupt the Sonya. A fully charged hammer does stun.
That is correct. The fully charged hammer has a mini stun that will interrupt. Yes.
Indeed. So perhaps using the D into the W might be the play there. But either way, BTG coming out with an interesting comp. The Rhaegar, I expect it's probably still going to be an Ancestral Rhaegar. A Bloodlust, this is not a great Bloodlust.
Bloodlust Odin.
It used to Bloodlust Hanzo, though?
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see a Bloodlust. I think it's going to be more of a standard game. What really excites me, though, is the Cassia that we just saw locked in there as well. So the Cassia is, on the one hand, a really good hero to counter the Odin, right? The Odin basic attacks. On the other hand, though, she's very susceptible to the Odin abilities, which are all magic damage, ability damage, right? So the zoning rockets, then we have the big long-range poke as well. I don't know how I feel about this Cassia, but if there's one team that can pull it off, it would probably be TheOne.
She's also very susceptible to Diablo is the issue I have.
Lightning
She's
Breath,
very
yes.
CC vulnerable with no cleanse. Any crowd control against Cassia will affect her and make it so that she loses her physical armor, which means Tychus and, of course, Rhaegar, Diablo, Yorel, all of these will have extra effectiveness. We'll see if it works out for her as we are heading into game number 1 of our third series of the day. It is BTG versus TheOne, and here is BTG on the left-hand side of Cursed Hollow, playing for them with the power of rotations, literally spinning. It is going to be 619 on Diablo, LLK on Tychus, Druid on the Rhaegar, Dudsig spinning on that Hanzo, and, of course, it's going to be Hehe on the Diablo.
And TheOne here, we've got on the right-hand side with Hugo on that Sonya, Mugglers playing the Phoenix, Meng on the Cassia, Hehe on Muradin, and ZJZ on that Decker Kane. And I just love how Dancing was role-playing his nickname there, right? Doing a little bit of a Hanzo dance in the beginning. I like it.
Also, I just realized that I said Hehe first when I should have said it is 3 on the Yorel as he dives in, gets the double stun. Meng and ZJZ both looking low. Druid tries to squeeze past, but his body blocked by his team. No one's able to get to the backline, and everyone from both teams is dropped low. Here comes the follow-up stun onto 619, and there's the kill by Muggle. Looks for a second, looks for a third. 3 is being chased down by Hehe. Where's the Stormbolt? There it is. Triple kill in the first 40 seconds of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, HGC China in a nutshell. Both teams agree to brawl right off the get-go. They have a set location made up, and they're going to show up, and they're not going to back down. Well, Beyond the Game tried to back down, but TheOne just wouldn't let them. So really cool to see. You know, in other regions, you probably wouldn't see this kind of reckless behavior, but hey, we're in China, so you better get used to it. And TheOne coming out on top here because of superior synergy. The Arsenal synergy, by the way, at level 1, dealing so much damage on that Phoenix.
Exactly, so much damage indeed. And like you said, it was as if they had a meeting place that they chose to, like old battles. And while we wait for the match to stabilize here, as both teams doing the Siege Giant camps here, as everyone goes back into lanes, was there ever a famous battle in German or Prussian history where the armies finally stopped being polite Because in British history, there was always the whole thing of meeting up before the battle, being very polite, and just goes, oh, so how does 7 p.m. work for you? Oh, no, we'd rather like to have tea before that. Can you do 8? Oh, 8's fine. Give time for our food to go down. That kind of thing. Or we'll meet tomorrow kind of thing. And they would always choose a time for the battle. But we had one battle, which I think was Cromwell, that finally changed all the rules and basically changed battle tactics.
I remember that at school as well. Cromwell basically fought dirty, right? He didn't really care about the gentleman's rules. I think that there can be said about the Napoleon era, right? After that one, I think things got a little more dirty in general. But you're right. Like, generals used to be really good friends, actually, although they were fighting on the opposing sides.
Hope you don't die, friend. And if you do, hope I kill you. That kind of thing. It was very polite. But there was nothing like that in German or Prussian history.
I don't remember anything on top of my head, unfortunately. But back to the actual combat here, back to the actual battle. Enough of history and all that other nonsense when you can watch Heroes of the Storm, right? There was pretty good mercenary push here in favor of the one going down, and looks like they still carry that experience lead that they managed to get to themselves from that early skirmish in the middle with, you know, half a level, almost an entire level lead overall.
Indeed, and also it was interesting that BTG, their bruiser camp was taken second, so it has actually helped clear, but they still took tower damage because the one's clear speed was so good, they were actually able to clear up BTG's bruiser camp behind the enemy gate. That's how good their clear speed is right now. Druid, uncontested, nice interrupt, using the slam from Muradin, but 3 has come in, great harassment. Druid self-cancels here this time. Gonna just back up, wait for his team as LLK is spending some time clearing minions, trying to get his team to level 6 as the level advantage is in favor of the one. It might not be, though, if he goes down. Nice CC from the team, interrupting the dwarf toss.
And down goes the dwarf, and he is sent flying. Wonderful CC chain, as you said, Tetcher. The Diablo stun into the hammer of Irel, and there wasn't even a chance, not even a single second left for Muradin to get out of there alive. But the question is, did he even try to survive there? Of course he tried, right? But was it actually important for him to stay alive? Not really that much, because look at all the damage done in the bottom lane. Phoenix wasn't even with them, so the one, they hadn't even planned to win this team fight to begin with, right? Because all they wanted to do was stall it out for as long as possible, try to let Phoenix muggle, gain all that value in the bottom lane. And I think they did a good job, all things considered. But still a wonderful pickup and a much needed pickup for Beyond the Game, because otherwise I think they would have suffered even more in terms of taking structural damage in the bottom.
They would, and as such, Scatter Arrow comes out here with bot lane still alive. BTG are actually in a decent position to pick this up. Their fountain is still alive, most importantly. This is the biggest deal, especially for this tribute area. Not so much for this, actually not so much for this one, more the one next to it, as they attempt a kill onto Muggle and will succeed, but the damage from Cassian is going to be coming in here. This could be dangerous. Druid able to pull back, and like you said, that cleanse gets everyone else out. I was really afraid of the Cassian damage coming in there, but it turns out they're all right.
All right, and during all of this, Hugo wasn't even trying to contest this tribute. He was busy soaking in the middle. He now in trouble yet again. Takes a scatter arrow to the face, but manages to survive for now.
Tiger's Grenade on cooldown, sorry, already been used. Tribute picked up by BTG, and BTG currently with a small tribute lead. Here's the next one on their side of the map as well. They have a tribute lead, but they're behind in kills, behind in XP. Yeah. They need to hope that level 10 is not hit during this tribute, but that would require the one to hold and delay that tribute for an entire level.
Yeah, and the one they really need to show up right now. If they don't show up for this one, it's going to be a curse, and it's not in the best of position for the red team, mind you, because it's relatively deep into the half of the blue team of Beyond the Game, right? So already 3 members have assembled. Decker Kane is now trickling in. Hugo and Muggle, what are they even doing? They're trying to finish this bottom fort? They should really not underestimate the team composition of Beyond the Game. Said they're trying to lock down Hanzo.
If they got the fort, they'd hit 10 though. It would give them such good fire here, but they also need to not die in the fight. So as such, they finally give up on it. They bring Sonya. 1 or 2 kills might be enough for the level 10. So they would happily trade it evenly if it would give them the level 10 so that they would win the rest of the fight. As they are dropping quite low here. Very grouped up. Good teleport. Muggle getting out of danger. He over the wall. Hugo, though, is the one to drop. Muggle finally finished off 3. Is still pretty healthy, just on the edge of the fend. And he survives. That's a 3 for 0 for BTG. Immediate boss start. It's risky. It's greedy. But it's the right call, because right now, level 10 is just around the corner for them. They'll have a curse, a boss, and level 10. It is the ultimate push chance for BTG.
And most importantly, they have Hanzo, right? With all that PvE damage, they can race it down in no time. So fantastic macro decisions in by Beyond the Game. Now getting maximum value out of that beautiful early game situation they find themselves in. Not only are they going to get a curse right here, right now, but also they could even decide to push alongside that boss, right? Because if they ended up pushing with that boss, TheOne would have to defend this. They would have to respect this as well. Sending 3, 4, maybe even 5 people to do this. And in the meantime, then all the other lanes would get pushed in heavily.
I don't like that Hanzo did that bruiser camp just then. I mean,
exactly.
It's fine. It's going to add extra pressure, but they could have got so much more done. They had a very short window where they had level 10 that they could have been pushing mid or bot. Now they're pushing into even talents, but it's still okay. Rhaegar's hiding his level 10 with this composition. I wouldn't mind Bloodlust, but I would prefer Ancestral, I think.
It could be good with the Irel, who's hitting like a truck anyways to begin with, and then of course the Odin, that has already been shown, right? A bloodlusted Odin. I think they're going to wait until how this siege goes. Decker Kane is down. Major advantage now for Beyond the Game.
Rhaegar still holds this heroic. They pick up a kill, and he still doesn't pick it.
Wow.
They keep pushing forward. This patience
They're taking everything
right now is crazy. They are just grabbing everything on the map. They've managed to grab all 3 forts. The boss in bot lane still pushing. They've now got double bruises in the mid lane, but they're going to ignore them. They're looking for the enemy boss.
Tetcher, I think this is the perfect early game on Cursed Hollow that you could possibly hope for. Taking every single Merc camp with the exception of the Siege Giants for TheOne, and now trying to go for the double boss here as well. He arrives too late. He's gonna take so much damage and gets taken up. Bloodlust. Here we go.
So far, no one's actually auto-attacking. Here's the sleep, followed by the Purification Salvo. Huge damage coming out here as the Odin gets those attack speed bonuses. But Meng with physical armor tanks through it. Bloodlust expires, and the Heradic Cube forces a disengage. TheOne now 2 levels behind. They blew every heroic for that and lost Muradin. And this is the weakest TheOne have looked in any game. BTG turning it up.
Yeah, on the one hand, I'm totally down with you. I think TheOne are looking incredibly shaky in that game. They let go of so many tributes, and it really cost them dearly. On the other hand, though, I think I'm really excited to see Beyond the Game in action, kicking. And really doing a lot of smart moves here, especially from a macro point of view. You know, the mercenary timing is impeccable. The bosses they took looked so clean as well. The Bloodlust, you know, is a funky move. I kind of like it, but let's hope that it's not going to bite them in the mid-late game when some Ancestral healings could have actually saved members when Bloodlust couldn't. But up to this point, I think they're just trying to use that momentum, you know, and they're trying to translate that early game victory into the late game by keeping themselves ahead of their opponents with that Bloodlust.
So we see lane being cleaned up here as LLK starts to burn down the minion wave with that overkill as they force their way forward, creeping forward. But TheOne, now they're playing a little bit more patient. Stormbot finish. Nice job, Hehe. That's reasonably quick. As they hover around the area. They would love the opportunity to maybe try and re-engage BTG when they had 13, but 13's coming too slowly.
Yeah. And I just really like how Beyond the Game is playing this. They're getting all those easy towers in, you know, paving the way for future pushes. They're probably going to posture up here as well to dominate this tribute control. I mean, they don't even need it, don't get me wrong. Both teams have been reset to 0. Well, TheOne never really had any to begin with. And I still like that they're doing this, right? There's no real other objective available at the map anyways. Both bosses are on cooldown. You know, the remaining members, though, they're pushing with this. Only Tychus dealing with that tribute. So with a really good engage here and protecting those Siege Giants, I think they could maybe actually end this top keep, or at least deal a lot of damage to it.
I'm feeling fairly confident in the defense for TheOne, even for V5 here, as Sonya does grab Siege Giants in the bot lane. But their wave clear is really solid. This is actually where they were getting a huge advantage earlier, hence the current state of bottom fort for BTG. But so TheOne, I feel good about their defense. These keeps will probably survive a very long time, potentially until the next big boss push, or until a fight is lost by BTG, which could happen at any point, really. But finally, at least, they are on even talents. This is where they might want to try and force something, but BTG, they're already almost halfway through level 15, or almost halfway towards their next talent.
So in these situations, as Tetra pointed out, your keeps are going to be very beefy. It's still 11, almost 12 minutes into the game, so the hero's damage hasn't really scaled up yet to take down keeps very swiftly, unless the enemy team makes like big mistakes. Speaking of potential big mistakes, engaging on a Muradin like that is very brave, very bold.
He is tanking through it this time, though. Here comes the ball lightning. Good value, but Hugo in the backline. Here's the Dragon Arrow completely interrupting the whirlwind as 619 is finally going to get taken out by Meng. No, he isn't. The sustain coming in here from the Rhaegar. Boss gets aggro. That's going to be huge. Having the turnaround. Boss root on Yrel. See ya, Yrel.
No way.
Boss MVP. The one boss. The Hugo's boss. As they turn it around. The ghost of Hugo wins them the fight as they turn it round. And the boss just MVP'd that fight for the one.
If we could give the boss that triple kill, that would have been amazing, but he only got 1 out of 3 on paper. But hey, we cannot deny the fact that this PvE objective was the real winner of that team fight. We take another look at that again. Sonya died so early. He is holding the line here, holding them clean, and then with a double stun, boop.
That boss was aggroed by Meng. His lightning javelin is what woke up that boss. And it was the stun. It was trying to drop onto Meng that got the setup for 2 kills. They actually got 3 kills basically there thanks to that. They're finally getting the boss channel. Heroes are back. This is right next to BTG's base. ZJ's there going to cast on the channel. Fred drop the healer. Good fend. And Druid will probably drop here. He's putting some good moves on Hugo. And Druid gets away.
LOK, is he going to make it too? No.
LOK goes down. 3 will make it over the wall. Druid absolutely outplays Hugo here. But finally, this channel can go through.
The value of Wolf Run at level 1, ladies and gentlemen, giving you that extra movement speed while in Ghost Wolf form, absolutely amazing. And look at the one. They're hungry. They are greedy. They can smell the comeback. But that doesn't change the fact that this is still a very greedy, a very bold maneuver here. Hanzo is close. Diablo just respawned. I don't think Beyond the Game is necessarily expecting it, or even if they're expecting it, they realize, you know what, we might be a little too low here. They don't have vision. Now they have, but just a little bit too late there.
The boss that did so much for the one, thanks to Meng on that Cassia, has awoken, and now it is mobile with its wrath. However, it's against Dancing, who will be able to wipe it pretty quickly. But this is giving time for the one to rotate up to the top lane and get another boss. This is their comeback potential. They're even on talents. They are very much not even on structures, but they're going to be able to get this boss. It's not going to be the fastest. That might actually make them late for the tribute, but at least it's counter pressure.
It is counter pressure.
They are going down very quick.
Yeah, they have some good boss damage themselves as well with that Sonya, you know, and the Wrath of the Berserker, the Cassia damage, the Phoenix. 13. So really solid. And when is the one trying to flip the switch here? Because the moment they push with this boss in the top lane, they're basically exposing themselves in the bottom lane. That's exactly what Beyond the Game is trying to capitalize on, right? They're trying to maybe actually go for the aggression play, or they're at least trying to fake it to force a reaction from the one to force these teleports.
I mean, they could force a keep. Let's see if BTG back up. Are they just going to grab the Siege Giants? Okay, they're going to go mid keep. It's significantly lower.
Yeah.
We might just end up with a base race, Kendrick. There is a bloodlust. Okay, no, port's been forced.
Yeah.
BTG not having the guts to try and maybe force a base race here. I don't think they were in vision, but the fact that they haven't shown on mid keep yet kind of shows the one exactly what's going on here.
Exactly.
They now know there's the Odin being dropped. Where's the bloodlust? Are they going to use it for the defense? Not yet.
Not yet. Muradin gets denied for now. No aggressive jumping in there. Uses the Stone Skin as well to remain as tanky as possible. Anti-healing is good by the Emerald Cube.
Here comes the Bloodlust, focusing onto Hugo, who once again is getting focused down, deleted by the Lightning Breath here. Salvo with some decent damage. He is tanking through as best as he can. The healing static gives him a little boost, and he's able to back up. But 3 diving deep. They want to listen. It's interrupted here. Wow. ZJZ is taken out 2 for 0. As now they dive for more. Muggle is super speedy boy. He's able to get out as Meg dives to the back line, but there's no blind. He goes down as Muggle is using the opportunity to flee for his life.
Flee for his life. That is the only course of action that makes a lot of sense after your team just got absolutely demolished in that defense. He is actually trying to buy yet a little more time. There was no Dragon's Arrow ready to punish this. Tribute. Oh my goodness, that's going to be the curse again for Beyond the Game.
That's what Hugo was. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to stun out anyone who rotated there. To give Phoenix time to take the tribute. It might be bot keeps dead. Mid keep will absolutely, no questions, die. Sonya's alive. 20 seconds till Cassia. Bloodlust in 26. So that's going to slow down the race potentially just a little bit. Hanzo's not the based core race hero. Odin's 14 seconds away. It's possible. but not guaranteed, as Hehe being a great distraction. Him surviving right now and pulling away some aggro is a huge deal right now. Sonya needs to clean up the lane, and Hehe needs to live this. If Hehe can live, stay on listen. Hehe dropping load of shields, potions. Oh, good, but Hehe goes down. That's terrible news, but Sonya has used this time to clean up a lot of the lane, but Zeke is taken out. Here comes the big red button, and it's gonna be a huge amount of damage. Like you said, this is probably gonna be it. Hugo is all alone, trying to tank through this. Muggle is not gonna be able to take this alone. 4 for 0, make it 5 with the scatter arrow, and BTG takes game number 1 versus TheOne.
Wow, a big upset here in HGC China. Ladies and gentlemen, Beyond the Game, currently ranked 4th in the league, takes down an immaculate team, TheOne, who haven't lost a single series in this upcoming phase, or in this ongoing phase, I should say. But now, with that first game falling out of their hands, they're at the brink of defeat. They're at the brink of their first defeat right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a rough scenario and a very